So Netflix has released their Q3 earnings report, and it's got some spicy information in there that we're going to go over. As you probably would suspect, they're not doing too good considering everything that happened last month, and we're going to get into that. But I want to show you their stocks because it's always fun to look at these when something happens with a company and just how it impacts the company. Now, it'll bounce back, and I expect it to shoot up higher than 545 eventually than what it is. But you see here it's at 545, and that's back in October 15th, and then it dropped down to 525 by the 20th, and then by today, it's down to 492. Now, what could have happened? Well, if you're looking at the bottom of the screen here, you can see that just right here it says Netflix slides 6% after missing third quarter subscriber growth and profit targets. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Let's go over here and take a look at this. So they lost money. They lost subs. Now, it's really hard to say if, for example, the cuties had anything to do with this. Now, that's where the big speculation is going to go. And they don't mention. Now, here's what's funny. I read through a bunch of reports that all of the outlets are putting out, and not one of them, and that's what's funny about it, not one of them mention the cutie stuff. Not one. They just ignore it and blow it over. And it's like, do you really think that didn't have anything to do with it? Take a look at this. Now, they talk about the shelter-in-place orders and the quarantine a lot, and that's why Q1 and Q2 were so good, and that's likely true. But one of the big reasons that they say that they've dropped so low for Q3 is because, well, now shelter-in-place has stopped, and states are opening back up, and people can go out again now, and that's why subscriber growth stopped. And I'm calling BS on that for a lot of reasons. Okay, look at this. The last time they had one this low was back in Q2 of 2019. But look at this. Going back to 2017, they've only had numbers this low one time. Now, I'm doing armchair analyst stuff here, right? I'm sure someone will come along and break this down a lot better, but I find it funny that all of these outlets are just not even mentioning that. You know, a lot of stuff. And this is for sure been affected by cuties. Because look at this. Now, this is interesting. So I've been looking at dates, right? So here are the yearly quarter dates, in case you didn't know. So first quarter is January 1st through March 31st. Second is April 1st through June 30th. And then third quarter is July 1st through September 30th, which falls right along with the release date of Cuties, which was on the 9th of September, when all of that stuff was blowing up and everybody was talking about it. And then you can also factor in Cobra Kai did very well for them. Okay, now imagine if the cutie stuff had never happened and they were just running out of Cobra Kai. I wonder, would those numbers have been so low? Because Cobra Kai is in that third quarter with it. And without a doubt, this is probably one of the most successful shows they've had all year, even though it came out a couple of years before it was even on Netflix. This show was trending hard. It was probably one of the most watched shows in the country, and it was doing really well. And then Cuties came out and screeched everything to a halt. I just find it funny that the controversy isn't mentioned at all in any report, not even with speculation. Not even with speculation. And they don't even bring into the fact that, but just by looking at the charts, you can tell that I highly doubt that the reason that they've come to some of their lowest numbers ever is because some states are opening back up. For the most cases, there's not even anything you can really do in a lot of these states. They haven't really opened up any tourist stuff like amusement parks. They're not even open. Most things are still kind of closed at the moment. Yeah, bars and restaurants have opened back up, but for the most part, you can go to the beach, stuff like that. But for the most part, people are still pretty locked down, and there's not a lot of social events going on. So saying that that's the reason that your numbers fell so short, that's to me a PR thing that they released to try to mask it. Because they, of course, want all of this to go away, which it's not, because I mean, there's a whole indictment thing going on in Texas with this company. So it's going to keep flying in their face. This isn't going to die down anytime soon. And like I said, I can't say that this is the exact reason, but I suspect it's a large reason behind some of this. I mean, we had reports of them losing subscribers. How many they actually lost from that, we'll never know. Only they know that. And they're never going to share those numbers unless it's somehow in their report. And I haven't looked at that. This is going to take somebody to really dive into that and take a look and see if they can figure that out. I'm just speculating. And I think that it's pretty reasonable to say that that was probably a large reason that a lot of people dipped out on Netflix. Their brand has been kind of tainted. I think they'll bounce through all this and be fine in the long run. And that's kind of a shame. It really is. But yeah, they're trying to brush this off as a non-burger and act like it's nothing, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And they think that they're going to be just fine, and they say, states are opening back up. And yeah, I don't think people are really falling for that. However, they do claim that if the quarter ended just 48 hours later, if they had had just another 48 hours, they would have come in slightly above our guidance forecast. So their next report, which will be out in January, if you look at the quarterly dates, December 31st is the final day for the fourth quarter. So they'll release the next one in January. So I imagine that one will probably bounce back a little bit, or maybe it won't. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with this company, especially with the indictment going on and stuff like that. Will their growth bounce back? Who knows? It might not. It's interesting to talk about nonetheless. So we'll see what happens. But either way, Netflix did get a pretty big hit in October. September. And do you think that September's little controversy was enough to bring down their whole Q3 earnings? I don't know. I think that was probably the strongest backlash they've ever received, though. And I really wonder, did the people bouncing off of them, was it from that? And did it bring them down to their lowest levels ever? Was it because of cuties? I don't know. It's interesting to think about, though, and we have some evidence that it might have. But who knows? I could be completely wrong. I just like talking about this stuff. So what do you think? You tell me in the comments below. Do you think it's because of that? Or do you think it's because, people could go outside again? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, throw a like up, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.